all here. So was it installed incorrectly? So there's a lot of stuff going on here. It's been a long week and an expensive week, but let's go back a little bit. By the way, this video is sponsored by 4122, but I'll tell you more about them later. On Monday, we noticed a slight shimmy when you hit a bump in the road. Not a big deal, decided to go on Tuesday to get the tires balanced before heading to the 4x4 shop on Wednesday to have our new chromoly rear axle shafts put in before leaving for winter 4x4 Jamboree on Friday. The shimmy got worse. The shimmy turned into full-on death wobble. Wednesday comes, very interesting ride up to Castle Rock in the snow on mud terrains. We were slipping and sliding everywhere. It was not a great experience. We probably won't be doing that again. We get into the shop. They fixed the rear axle leak by upgrading the rear axle shafts to chromoly axle shafts. They do a general inspection. Everything seems to be torqued down. There is some play in one of the ends at the end of the drag link that connects to the pitman arm. So this is where it gets a little bit confusing to me because this suspension in the entire lift is about 100 days old. So it doesn't make sense to me that these ends, or this end in particular, has play or is worn out already. We find the end at High Country 4x4, we replace the end, and I won't lie, the steering is a little bit more responsive. There seems to be less play. But at the same time, the bolts on the steering box took torque, like quite a bit of torque. I mean, a half-inch turn. And thinking back, when you do a dry steering test, and I rocked the wheel back and forth, you could hear a clonking back and forth. That was not normal. That was probably the steering box shifting in its place. In their general inspection, they find the steering stabilizer.
Killed. So you can see the actual stud is bent.
Oh my gosh.
And all the threads are just destroyed.
So was it installed incorrectly, or is it just from being used?
I think it used too many washers.
Kind of not surprising. We've had issues with the place that did this original lift, so it's just a little disappointing. But as a consumer, we're learning a lot about all of this, how these systems work together in general. It's been quite the learning experience. And so far as the steering stabilizer goes, that is made by Terraflex. Terraflex is actually going to rebuild this. We have an RMA, we're gonna send it back to them. For now, we have a temporary steering stabilizer. It's more like a steering dampener. It was actually made for a JK. We have a reduced turning radius for now, but at least we're able to drive. So after Wednesday, we leave. We have the new end, we have the steering box torqued down. The steering feels a lot firmer and we're pretty happy thinking this is gone. And then we hit the one spot that death wobble happens at all time and it goes into full-on wobble. We have to pull off the side of the road. So at this point, everything's been torqued down. The track bar's been torqued, one of the ends has been replaced, the steering box has been torqued down. You have to assume at this point that the ball joints were checked. You have to assume that every single thing that would cause death wobble at this point has been checked, but we still have death wobble. We head to my friend's shop in Colorado Springs and throw it on his very expensive and very fancy alignment machine.
Toto is just about dead in the center. You need to be on this end. Because it says 0.35 degrees at most and then negative 0.05 on the least. They put it right in the middle. So you need to be like 0.34 all the way over. That I'm thinking would probably cause it, because now 0.15, as soon as you're going, it's going to go to the negative side because the tires are so big, and then it's going to want to start pulling out.
That makes sense, yeah. So we adjusted the toe. We added 4 turns to each of the control arms and in turn increased the caster from 6 to up near 7. The wobble, we have not been able to make it go into full-on death wobble. There is still a shimmy in the steering wheel when you hit a bump. With the steering box torqued down, I now wonder if the pitman arm is the issue, because they did show that there's a little bit of vertical play in the pitman arm that's attached to the steering box. It is such small play, I don't see how that would cause death wobble, but there is still a shimmy, so this is where we're at. And the whole time, part of me is still hoping that we're still gonna make it to Winter 4x4 Jamboree. We're supposed to leave on Friday. We were in the shop on Friday. So at the same time, we had to get all of our other stuff done. That meant reinstalling all of the flat towing stuff, including the power plug and the breakaway switch on the bumper. I just don't feel comfortable flat towing this thing for 1,000 miles. Maybe we're being overly paranoid. I don't know. But to me, if there's a wobble back there and we don't feel it, I don't want it to damage something worse and have it be much more expensive than the cost of what we've spent already trying to fix this. So we missed this one. I think that's just one of the realities of having a custom built Jeep like this. I think I was naive in thinking that, oh, we would never have a problem if you just maintain it and you buy the best parts and you have the best people work on it. It's hard to find those best people. You can put the best parts on it, but you're still gonna walk away with some issues down the road at some point. 4122, small company out of Southern California. They started by making a hitch slider, something that we've been using extensively on our Jeep Gladiator Mojave for almost exactly a year now. It's held up well, showing its age now, but it is definitely nowhere near ready to be thrown out the door. It still has quite a bit of life left in it. It's a solid block of aluminum, but it has been a lifesaver in at least protecting that rear hitch on our Gladiator Mojave. So it's definitely something that you should pick up, but now they have introduced something else. I was looking at the Factor 55 winch shackle. I messaged 4122 and I asked them, are you making one of these? This is kind of right up your alley. They said, yes, actually we are. Very excited to be able to test and review this. First impressions of this thing are, it is very solid, it is very nice, it is very well designed, it feels good in the hand. It comes in a variety of colors. You can buy just the winch shackle or you can buy the optional fair lead mount, and those two are meant to work hand in hand together so it fits nicely, snugly, and it's not gonna go anywhere. It looks good, it feels great, it comes in a variety of colors, it only works with synthetic rope, and we can't wait to put this thing to the paces. That's all I can say about the shackle and the fair lead for now. We're gonna have a lot more video of this in actual field testing and seeing how this thing holds up in real world conditions, but as of now, we're pretty stoked about it, and we can't wait to show you that video later. If you're interested in hitch slider, that has been out for a while now. It's available for order now on their website, 4122.com. I'll put the URL below. The winch shackle and the fair lead mount are also available for order now. Just know that they are just now ramping up production, and so maybe a little while before you get that. Also, use the code FARFROMORDINARY to get 10% off your order. We do get a small kickback on that, just to let you know, and all of those funds go back to helping generate revenue for this channel and to fix our Jeep. I think the next step at this point is to have another steering box put in, but I would like to test it before we actually pay for that. So hopefully that's something that the shop is able to do. Beyond that, we're not really sure, but stay tuned for updates. We do have some cool stuff planned. We are still gonna be driving the Jeep. We are still gonna be doing some off-roading. We're just now limited to places that I can drive and recover the Jeep from a death wobble as opposed to flat towing it. So we're kind of limited in radius, but we still have some cool adventures ahead. So thanks for watching, and we will see you on the next episode. Get your merch, farfromordinarylife.com/merch, and help us pay for all of these Jeep issues that we're having. And we'll see you on the next episode. Bye.